All right. So good day, everybody. And before I get started, I wanted to first give thanks to Natasha, the birthday gift, for allowing me to share this space with you all. So I am absolutely honored to be a part of this today. For those of you all that have no knowledge of who I am, my name is Spirit Soul, but you can also call me Peta. And so today, what I wanted to talk to you all about, breaking free and staying free. So a little bit about myself is I came from a Caribbean background, but this journey of freedom began for me when I was in Zone 3, Atlanta, Georgia, Mechanicsville, USA. A journey that was filled with so much opposition and dysfunction and trauma. And in this experience, I was, subject to a lot of different forms of abuse by my caregivers. I'm talking about the abuse went from emotional, sexual, mental, and physical abuse. But in my mind, there was no way that was the life that I was supposed to live. This could have easily destroyed me, but one thing that I've always felt like is I was destined to live a different life. Through it all, regardless of how bad it got, I just always knew that I couldn't settle for what was surrounding me. No one in my family had the life that I desired to have, so I was like, I gotta create the life that I want for myself. And that it became more like a goal. It became more than a goal for me. It became more than a goal. It was like my own personal agenda. Like I had to set out, I had to defy the odds, I had to do whatever it took for me to get out of my circumstances. And because of that, it didn't matter what stood in my way, who stood in my way, I had to destroy it. I had to destroy it. Anything, regardless of who it was or what it was, I had to get it out of my way. And that's just what it was. So every opposition that came my way or that tried to prevent me from being free and having my freedom or, on my sole purpose, I had to get rid of it. It had to be eliminated. That was a lot that I had to experience. All right. That was a lot that I had to experience. And it began to show up in my personal life. It began to show up in my work, in my relationship with others. I can remember, a lot of that toxic abuse showing up in the beginning stages of me being a mother, disciplining my kids with a form of abuse. And I then realized, something's not right here. Like there's something loose. There's something that I'm projecting onto my child that is, that my child should not be experiencing. All right. It began to show up at my work. Anytime I had an issue with anybody, it always resulted in violence or something like that. And I'm like, there got to be some screws loose, But through all of that, I just knew that I can't count myself out. I cannot count myself out. And so because I never counted myself out, I began to long for freedom from any and everything that reminded me of my past, right? Any and everything. My soul longed for this type of freedom. All of those days in isolation, I'm telling you guys, there were sometimes we was in these rat-infested red brick apartments, and these rat-infested apartments had roaches. You couldn't really watch TV like you wanted to. I was locked in there. They wouldn't let me, I was raised separate from my siblings. So my grandma, she wouldn't let me go anywhere outside of the house. And then I could have gone crazy. And many times I felt like I was going crazy. I was seeing things, so I felt like I was going crazy. But for some reason, that just caused me to go even harder. And usually when things like this happen, they create three types of people, right? And these three types of people, I like to call them the villain, the victim, and the hero. You see, the villain will go about life and using all of his, his trials and his tribulations, and using all the things that they've gone through, right? And they'll use that as an excuse to be the bad guy or the bad girl, to go out in the streets and abuse people, to go out and do things that they know would be detrimental to them and their sole purpose, that would be detrimental to others. And they would use their excuse, the things that they've gone through, or the things that they perceive to have experienced, as an excuse to be a very bad person. But then you have the victim. And the victim is that mug that's, woe is me, the one that always want to take up all of your time, the one that always wants to, have this sob story as to why they can't do this or why they can't do that. But then you got the hero. So that's what I like to call myself, the hero. The hero is the leader. The hero is the one that's gonna go get it no matter what they experienced in their life. The hero is the one that's gonna take those hard times. They're gonna take those lessons. They're gonna take those experiences, and what they're gonna do with those experiences, they're gonna transform into the leader so that they can one day lead others, because that's what heroes do. The hero can turn the villain and the victim into the hero. But the villain and the victim can't turn anybody into anything but more villains and more victims. And so today, I'm standing before heroes, all right? So heroes, since I'm talking to you, our purpose is to set souls free of victimhood and help them transform that victimhood and that villain type of behavior into the hero. Transform the heroes, transform the victim and the villain so that we can have more heroes. And in order to free myself of those things, or in order to free myself from becoming those things, because there was a time where I saw a little victim showing up sometimes when it wanted to, But in order to completely free myself from all of those things, I had to work on it. I had to work on it a lot. I had to be patient with myself. It took a lot of time and a lot of energy. So after I had my daughter, like about a year after I had my daughter, there was a lot of unfortunate things that happened in her first year of birth. And so after I had her in like 2011, I started my journey of self-discovery, right? I went through, although my physical body felt free, parts of my soul were locked away in this mental prison that I had placed myself in. And y'all already know what mental prisons I'm talking about. I'm talking about the self-doubt. I'm talking about the unworthiness. I'm talking about the self-sabotage. I'm talking about these limiting beliefs. I had to work, and every day I got to a place that I felt that I had healed. And even though, listen, every time I got to that place that I felt like I healed, guess what happened? Guess what happened? I'm gonna tell you what happened. Another opposition came. Here comes another opposition, another hurdle, right? And guess what though? Hurdles don't stop heroes, all right? A hero will figure out a way to get over the hurdle or even get around the hurdle. That's what the hero would do. Now, a victim, they'll just stand by the hurdle. They won't even try to get over. They'll just be like, oh, it's a hurdle in my way. And the villain will turn around and go back. The victim will stay right there, but the villain will turn around and go back. Watch out now. But the hero though, the hero say, it's another hurdle. Guess what? Guess what I did? I just jumped over the hurdle. Because nothing can stop a hero. I figured it was karma coming to collect so that Dharma could issue me my task. So I jumped over the hurdle. And once I was given my first assignment, I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? Like me. I was like, people are going to think like I'm crazy, I'm losing my mind. You know what I'm saying? And so when that happened, I'm like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. There's a lot of people that's not going to be interested in what I have to say. There's a lot of people that's not going to be, it's not a lot of people that's gonna resonate with this because they're gonna feel like I'm crazy, right? So guess what? After I got back from Afghanistan, this was like 2014, I returned from Afghanistan, I met my husband. Then a year or two later, I met his sister, Natasha, the birthday gift, shout out to the birthday gift. And I felt like, I was like, they think like me. you know. Then I got comfortable discussing these types of circumstances, these types of encounters, ghosts, everything, you name it. All this spiritual jargon, numbers, you name it. I got comfortable speaking to them about it. So it's like either we all crazy, or I'm in alignment, or this is what alignment looks like. Because we understand the logical explanation of alignment, but do we really understand what alignment truly is? Alignment on the logical side is everything in that straight line, but alignment on the spiritual side is when everything begins to start to piece itself together, right? It begins to piece itself together, you know? So guess what? I felt like I was in line. Then I started asking my spirit team, but seriously though, seriously, how am I going to do this? And it was that's the universe saying, listen, I'm aligning you with your soul tribe. I'm aligning you with your family. So I told my guys, like, how do you want me to do this? Like, how am I supposed to do this? Like, what am I going to do this time? I don't have the time to do this. So me being a child that longed for a family, he gave me a family because I could literally talk to him about anything, talk to her about anything, you know? And so he's like, look, I done gave you the family. What else you want? I said, I don't got no time to do this stuff. So guess what? A week later, a doctor called me and told me that I need to come to the communal disease because I contracted a disease in Afghanistan that could be deadly. I was like, oh, heck no, man. I thought the worst. When I got up there, they told me, they said, yeah, you know, this condition, it's like a 1 in a million chance for people getting it, and you got it. Typhoid, y'all. Typhoid type A. I was like, what you mean? Like, I got it. Like a 1 in a million. And so here I go, going back into that limited belief. Like, oh my goodness. Like, wow, here it comes again, right? But it wasn't here it comes again. It was a way out. Because I said, how am I going to do this? I ain't got time. They began to process my medical retirement. And on April 4th, 2016, I was retired from the United States Army. I was free. Y'all, I retired at 31 years old because of some stuff that happened in Afghanistan. I was so sick. I was like, man, what in the world? Like, why am I so sick? But that was the purge. I was going through a lot, y'all. That was the purge. But you know what? I kept going. It was times I was like, look, I don't feel like doing it. My husband come in there like, nah, you better get up. You better do this. You better do that, you know? But I kept going. He was my friend at the time when all this was happening. And I kept going, y'all. I just kept going. Wheelchair, doctor appointments, organs failing, all that stuff. I kept going. Changed my lifestyle, started eating alkaline, all kinds of stuff. I was trying to stay alive. I was like, no, they said I got a purpose. But guess what? I started studying my metaphysics. I started studying about chakras. I started studying about spirituality, all that stuff. I felt ready. And guess what I did? I went and got a job. And look, that job paid good. I was like, I'm going to wait on my spiritual work. I'm going to put that off on helping people because I need more income. But the infinite creator was like, nope. You ain't finna get no job. Gave my husband orders to come to another state for 2 years. So we had to move away. So when we moved away, I finally launched my coaching business. But guess what? I was thinking hard about that money. I was like, should I go? Should I not go? But then I was like, no. If you stay here for money, you're going to put yourself in another cycle. You're separating your family that you asked us for money. So I was like, my kids are not going to be estranged. My kids are not going to do this. And they are not going to be away from their father. And I'm not going to be away from him. Or they're not going to be away from me, whichever way we decide to go. And guess what I did? I went with my husband. So as soon as I get here, I launch my spiritual business. I'm ready. I'm having all kinds of downloads. I'm getting all kinds of downloads coming through South Carolina. Riding through them trees. I'm getting all kinds of downloads. And then guess what? I launched my spiritual business. But when I launched my spiritual business, I halfway launched it. Started doing a few little readings here. And then a friend of mine told another friend of mine that I was here. And they was like, needing a financial advisor. And they offered me a 6-figure job. And I was like, oh. It's so hard to turn down that type of money, you know. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. Well, I'm driving from Sam's Club one day. And guess what? Out of nowhere, this little bitty tiny car hit my X5. Boom. Tore my car up. And after that accident, I lost my right eye and partial vision in my left. I still don't have the right eye. But I had to sit down and focus on this. Like, they like, listen, I don't know what you're trying to orchestrate all your whole life. Listen, sit down. And that's what they did, right? So I tried to do love readings. It didn't work. I tried to do zodiac readings. That didn't work. It worked, but it was like I had to do it their way, or else the followers wasn't coming, right? So it was like, look, you're not going to do what you want to do because your ego wants to be fed. You're going to do what you were assigned to do. So I had to go inward. I had to go real deep. I had to go on and do these transformation and healing readings. And guess what? Things just started to come about. Messages started to come. Things just started to shift. Those were those intimate assignments. You know, the more I began to do, the better things aligned, the more gifts they gave me. I began to reflect and dig deeper. I reflected back on my childhood, and I started to remember moments where I was already doing similar stuff like this when I was a kid. I remember when I was a child, I would see spirits before they transition. I never knew what none of that stuff meant back then, but I know now. I was afraid to tell my family about it, because last time I told my family about it, y'all already know how parents are. Man, I told them about that, but they took me to that church and they performed what they thought was an exorcism on me. And so I ain't never tell them nothing like that again. Nothing. But all of that was preparing me for my role today as the ancestral healer. Now, some of y'all already work with me, and so y'all know what I do, but I'm going to have to go ahead and explain a little bit of what I do, just so that they can understand who I am. So I pretty much help souls deal with intergenerational traumas, deal with current traumas, soul retrievals, generational curses, and anything that may have came through the bloodline. I work mostly with you and your subconscious and your ancestors. They assist me in your healing as well. So I teach others how to connect with their ancestral lineage, known or unknown, because there was a lot of my ancestors that I didn't even know. And there are several things that really goes into this work. But I started working through the weeds of the things that held me back. I became free. When I did that, I became free. Initially, I thought that I needed all of these degrees to tell me who I was. But I realized that after thousands of dollars wasted, that was unnecessary. I read all that stuff, and it didn't matter. It was always on the inside of me. See, what I learned is that you don't need all that. You have explicit knowledge. You have intellectual property that has been passed down to you from generation to generation. All you have to do is tap into your higher selves, and you're going to access it. You don't need all of that. A seed was planted in the subconscious mind that affected me in my conscious state. I felt like I couldn't do that unless I had that. I felt like I was an imposter unless I had all of those things. But now look at me. I'm 35 and retired from my first career and working on my second retirement. I remember telling my friends that I was going to start doing this, like start doing a thing like this, healing people naturally and holistically and yada, yada, yada. And then my friend looked at me and he said, what qualifies you to heal people? And at that time, I didn't know how to respond. I said, because it's my passion. That's what I said. But no, what qualifies me to heal people is because this is what I was assigned to do. This was my sole purpose all along. This is why I was born on a Saturday. This is why I went through all of those experiences. I was born to do what I'm doing right now. I had to like just listening to somebody else. Like, that's why I don't tell people what I'm doing, because then they start projecting their own limiting beliefs off on you. Him projecting his limiting beliefs off on me. So I still be just talking about it if I'd have listened to him. But listen, when you begin to believe, right, and you just start taking action and putting one foot in front of the other, like, you're gonna be unstoppable. You're gonna open doors that you didn't even realize you could open. That's what's so amazing about this journey. One foot right in front of the other, and don't look back unless you're trying to look at how far you came. Because that's the only time I look back. My soul mantra that I live by is you can be pitiful or you can be powerful, but you cannot be both. You'll find that once you start doing things to change yourself, doing things that's going to help you align with yourself, doing things differently, speaking differently to yourself, giving yourself another name, you'll find out how much things can change. Change the names that you're calling yourself. Change the names that you're allowing other people to call you. The first thing that a person does when they're trying to control another being is changing their identity. That's what they do. Calling you names that they want you to have. Calling you names that they want you to have. Y'all remember the story of Kuta Kinte? They were trying to make him Toby, wasn't it? And he was like, no, I'm Kuta Kinte. Which is also what many freedom fighters did. Because the name is extremely important when it comes to knowing yourself. It's your identity. To make one or regards of oneself. That's what identity means. That's the etymology of identity. Ask yourself, who are you really? What do you identify as? What do you identify as? Who are you really? That's what I did. That's what I did. And my name was revealed to me. Your old name has the vibration of the old you. So now it's time for you to call yourself something different. A name to operate in a new frequency. Because if you still calling yourself your old name, you're still vibrating on that old frequency unless you transmute the energy of that name and give it another meaning. You have to change your name or how you respond to your name. You have to change your name or how you respond to your name. And that's what I did. I changed my name. I changed my name. I changed how I allow people to talk to me. I changed how I allow people to call me. Let somebody call me my name I grew up with. We got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. So ask yourself, who are you? Who are you? But they said this was about me. They said, I am that. So what? That's what my ancestors said to me. But they said this was about me. Who are you? If you come up with opposition, adjust. If you come into opposition, adjust. After that, put in work. Everyone wants to be a high priestess. Everyone wants to be a warlock. Everybody want to be a god, a goddess. Everybody want to be a god, but nobody ain't willing to put in the work that it takes to be a warlock, a god, a goddess. Nobody ain't willing to put in that work. Just because you get a reading that say that you're a goddess or a god, that doesn't mean that you are that yet. You have to own that. You have to consume that. You have to realize who you identify as. How do you identify? Who are you? Forget what people think. Forget what they say about you. Friends, families, they're not going to support you. And if they do support you, guess what? They just a part of the algorithm. A lot of them all they doing is just watching to see if you're going to fail anyway. They don't really care about you succeeding. That's all they want to do is see if you're going to fail. They just the algorithm. They going to help you boost it. They going to help get the attention because even if they not supporting you, they watching you. Well, if I had a husband, or if I had a mom, or if I had a dad, I could do this and I could do that. I could be who I'm supposed to be. No, you don't. You don't need none of that. All you need is you.